most important challenge is the economy and of course the employment challenges.
This election is important because we are going through a transitory period. We want to see groundworks.
If you want to gain vote from youth, you have to focus on job creation issues.
$127 million registered voters.
We are going to have a fair election after 17 years. In that excitement, we are here.
300 seats.
What we need at the moment in the country is peace.
The battleground, the fourth largest Muslim majority nation, Bangladesh. Who will get the magic number of 151 on February 12th polls? This is the battle of Jatiya Sangsad, or the Bangladesh Parliament. A battle between the Bangladesh Nationalist Party and an alliance led by Jamaat-e-Islami and the student-led National Citizen Party. Will the Bangladeshi electorate give Tariq Rahman, the son of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, a chance? Or will the tide turn towards the Islamists? Since the country's independence from Pakistan in 1971, Bangladesh has experienced several turbulent political moments. From Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who served as the country's first prime minister, to the ousted leader Sheikh Hasina, assassinations, internal conflicts, military intervention and fragile democratic institutions have rocked the South Asian nation time and again. As Bangladesh hits the reset button, we take a look at how its policies have shaped the country over the years. 18 months since Hasina's exit, and with no Awami League this time, the 2026 election will be nothing short of a test of democracy for the 170 million population. What impact will these elections have on Bangladesh's economy and its relations within the Indian subcontinent and beyond? Let's find out. In 2024, Bangladesh witnessed one of the most dramatic political upheavals in its history, led not by political parties but by students. The protests began over opposition to government job quotas, especially opposing a 30% reservation for the families of 1971 freedom fighters, but soon expanded into a wider movement against the ruling Awami League. Students across universities demanded reforms, citing corruption, unemployment, and lack of opportunities. As demonstrations spread across the country, clashes broke out between protesters and security forces. The violence lasted for several weeks. According to official estimates, more than 1,400 people were killed, most of them during confrontations with security forces. Sheikh Hasina, who had been in power for nearly 15 years, faced growing criticism over her handling of dissent and the use of force against protesters. And on the 5th of August 2024, the crowd stormed her residence, the Ghana Bhaban. By then, Sheikh Hasina had fled the country. To to stabilize the situation, Nobel Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus was sworn in as the head of an interim government on the 8th of August 2024. The interim administration was given the responsibility of restoring law and order and preparing the country for fresh elections. However, in the past 1.5 years, Yunus faced intense criticism regarding his handling of security for minority communities, particularly Hindus. Critics, including international rights groups and Awami League Party, have accused his administration of failing to protect minorities, downplaying violence and allowing radical groups to operate with impunity. Bangladesh is all set to go on the polls for the first time since the removal of Sheikh Hasina's government. This election will also be the first in years without the Awami League, which has been barred from participating following the 2024 protests. The absence of the country's long-ruling party has significantly changed the political landscape. Opposition parties and independent candidates are competing for space in an election that many see as a reset moment.
People will vote, and then there will be a government elected by the people, and then there will be opposition parties. So there will this kind of democratic system in the country. So that's why election is important.
Voters say key issues include corruption, unemployment and economic uncertainty. Problems that had drawn widespread criticism during the Awami League's rule.
Many people become graduate every year, but job creation is not proportional. Job sector is not proportional to number of the graduate. In every sector, in Islamic sector, in outer sector, job field is not proportional to number of graduate.
The interim government has promised a transparent and fair election process while also committing to political and institutional reforms. But the Awami League has raised questions over fairness. In her most detailed interview since losing power, former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said the rule of law has been replaced by mob rule with minorities living in fear. Hasina accused Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus of systematically destroying Bangladesh's social fabric. The former PM even said that she wants to return to the country and make the restoration of constitutional order her top priority. So what is the history of Awami League and Sheikh Hasina's rule in Bangladesh? Let's understand. Bangladesh is one of the world's most densely populated countries. It was formerly East Pakistan, where in 1949 the Awami League was formed. The party under the leadership of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman led the struggle for independence from Pakistan. On the 16th of December in 1971, the territory of East Pakistan broke away from Pakistan. Helped by India in its war for liberation against Pakistan, it became Bangladesh. West Pakistan became the Pakistan we know today. On the 12th of January 1972, Mujibur, the father of Sheikh Hasina, assumed the position of the Prime Minister in Dhaka. He introduced a one-party rule. 3 years later, on the 15th of August 1975, Mujibur Rahman was assassinated along with most of his family in a military coup. The years that followed after Mujibur's assassination saw a series of abortive coups. Eventually, in the late 1970s, General Ziaur Rahman, the husband of the late opposition chief Khalida Zia, became the de facto leader. But after his assassination, Bangladesh experienced many years under various shades of military rule. The first elections, considered free and fair, were held in 1991, and Begum Khalida Zia, Zia's widow, became the prime minister. Although democracy was restored in 1990, the political scene remained volatile. For a very long time, politics in Bangladesh was dominated by the bitter rivalry between two women, Sheikh Hasina and Khaleda Zia of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Both became prime ministers at various times since 1991. Their hostility stemmed in part from differences over who played a greater role in Bangladesh's independence struggle. They sank their differences when military ruler Hussein Mohammad Ershad was in power from 1982 to 1990. But after that, they became uncompromising rivals. On the 23rd of June 1996, Sheikh Hasina was sworn in as the country's prime minister for the first time. She served 5 terms as Bangladesh's prime minister, 4 of them consecutively since 2009, till her removal in August 2024. The Awami League, led by Hasina, had a pan-Bangladesh presence and always insisted on promoting secular, democratic and progressive values. Between 2009 and 2024, under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh experienced significant economic transformation, transitioning from one of the world's poorest nations to a lower middle-income country. According to a World Bank report, extreme poverty decreased from 9% in 2016 to 5% in 2022 in Bangladesh. But critics said that the economic success came at the cost of democracy and human rights. They agreed that Hasina's rule was marked by repressive authoritarian measures. And in August 2024, Sheikh Hasina was finally ousted as a result of anti-corruption and government protests. The 2026 elections are among the most consequential in the country's 55-year history, since gaining independence from Pakistan in 1971. Bangladesh has one of the world's youngest populations, with a significant portion under the age of 30. Among those above the voting age of 18, approximately 56 million, or 44%, are between the ages of 18 and 37, and nearly 5 million are first-time voters. Bangladesh is a parliamentary republic where executive power is exercised by an elected government, consisting of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. Legislative authority rests with the Jatiya Sangsad, Bangladesh's parliament. It consists of 350 seats, including 300 directly elected seats and 50 seats reserved for women, which are allocated proportionally based on their share of votes. Members serve 5-year terms. In this 2026 election cycle, there are 59 registered political parties in Bangladesh. Of these, 51 parties are actively participating in elections by fielding candidates. In total, 1,981 candidates are contesting, including 249 independent candidates. For the first time in the country's history, a joint election and constitutional referendum will be held on the 12th of February, determining not only who will govern for the next 5 years, but how those in power will govern. In a historic first, the vote will also include diaspora participation. The referendum aims to give political force to the July Charter, a landmark document with over 80 reform proposals, which seeks to reshape Bangladesh's system of governance. Named after the July 2024 uprising, the Charter was drafted by the interim government's National Consensus Commission, drawing on recommendations from 6 reform commissions. Focused on the constitution, judiciary, electoral system, police, public administration and anti-corruption, voters will cast a single yes or no vote on 4 consolidated issues. limiting executive power, introducing of a maximum 2-term limit for the Prime Minister, and strengthening the Parliament, potentially a bicameral system to reduce executive overreach. Judicial independence and rights, enhancing judicial independence and significantly expanding fundamental rights for citizens. Electoral integrity and accountability, restoring a neutral caretaker system to oversee elections and establishing an independent police commission. Institutional reforms and inclusivity, promoting a more inclusive democratic state by recognizing the 2024 uprising, addressing corruption, and increasing women's political representation. With the Awami League sidelined from the race, what has become clear in the early days of campaigning is that the main contest is between two opposition camps. Leading the charge is Jamaat-e-Islami under Shafiqur Rahman, facing off against the Bangladesh Nationalist Party headed by Tariq Rahman. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or BNP, was founded by former Bangladesh President Ziaur Rahman on the 1st of September 1978. The party's ideology is rooted in Bangladeshi nationalism, recognizing the right of people from all walks of life, irrespective of their ethnicity, gender, or race. After Ziaur Rahman's assassination in 1981, Khalida Zia, his wife, joined politics and became a primary member of BNP in 1982. She emerged as the first elected female prime minister of Bangladesh in 1991, when the BNP bagged 144 seats. At the time, it formed the government with the support of Jamaat-e-Islami. Under Sheikh Hasina's rule, BNP faced sustained political pressure and restrictions. 60-year-old Tariq Rahman joined the BNP in 1988 and rose to prominence as its senior joint secretary in 2002. But in 2007, Khalida Zia's son was detained on corruption charges, and in 2008, Rahman moved to London, where he remained in exile till late December 2025. BNP supporters had hoped Khalida Zia would return to frontline politics and possibly become prime minister after Sheikh Hasina's fall. However, after battling prolonged illness, Khalida Zia passed away on the 30th of December 2025 at the age of 80, ending that possibility. Days before her death, Tariq Rahman returned to Bangladesh on the 25th of December 2025 to meet his ailing mother, and after her death he took over the leadership of the BNP as its chairman. And now all eyes are on BNP's prime ministerial candidate. Tariq Rahman joined his campaign in the northeastern city of Sylhet on the 22nd of January, addressing thousands of supporters. Sylhet holds special significance in Bangladesh's political landscape. It is home to the centuries-old shrine of Shah Jalal and has traditionally been a starting point for political campaigns. In Sylhet, Rahman criticized Jamaat-e-Islami for using religious sentiment to mobilize voters. He said that if elected, he would protect national sovereignty and focus on women and young people.
If you cast your vote to the sheaf of paddy, BNP party symbol, and make the party victorious, then I promise we will provide every mother and every housewife of all the families a family card like this, to ensure food and social safety.
Tariq has also claimed that his party will not form a unity government if they come to power after the election.
How can I form a government with the political opponent? Then who will be in the opposition? A government needs an opposition to balance the whole thing, needs a good opposition. I think, I don't know what will be their seat number, but if they are in the opposition, I hope to have them as a good opposition.
Jamaat-e-Islami is one of the major political parties contesting the 2026 national election in Bangladesh. Originally established as an Islamist movement in the early 1940s, it emerged as a distinct entity in its current form in Bangladesh from 1979. The party believes in building a political system based on Islamic principles and values. Its roots can be traced back to the pre-partition period when Islamist organizations sought to establish religiously based governance in the region, and it later evolved into a political party active in Bangladesh. The party has had a controversial history in Bangladesh. After independence, Jamaat was banned in 1972 for misusing religion for political gains. The ban was lifted in 1979 as it joined hands with BNP. Together, the alliance enjoyed political power at different periods of time. However, the party was banned for years under the Sheikh Hasina regime because of its opposition to Bangladesh's 1971 independence and alleged links to violence during the Liberation War. Following the fall of Hasina, Jamaat-e-Islami has aggressively worked towards a political resurgence in the country. For the upcoming election, Jamaat-e-Islam's prime ministerial candidate is Shafiqur Rahman, a 67-year-old party lead. Known for his Islamist background and modest lifestyle, Rahman has promoted Jamaat as a moral and clean alternative in politics, appealing to conservative and religious voters.
The root cause of every misdeed and corruption during the previous regime is the lack of justice. If there was justice, then the looters, corrupt people couldn't safely escape after taking people's money from the banks.
In the 2026 campaign, Jamaat has joined forces with the National Citizen Party and other smaller parties forming a coalition. The NCP was formed from the 2024 student-led uprising. It agreed to this alliance as an electoral strategy, despite internal resistance from some leaders who say it conflicts with their original democratic ideals. The Jamaat-NCP alliance has drawn particular criticism from women and women's rights groups. Many women activists have spoken out against Jamaat because of its historic stance on gender roles and the lack of female candidates in the party. Some women leaders in the NCP have resigned in protest, saying the partnership undermines progress made in the recent uprising and could restrict women's participation in politics. For more than 3 decades, Bangladesh was one of the few countries in the world to be led by women, yet there are almost none on the February 12 ballots. Yes, you heard it right. Despite helping to spearhead the uprising that led to this vote, women are going to be largely excluded from the South Asian country's political arena. Regardless of which party wins, the outcome will see Bangladesh governed almost exclusively by men.
Now, I don't say necessarily that we women have to be the Prime Minister, but it would have been better if we could see more women MPs, members of Parliament, and more women in the cabinet.
Women make up less than 4% of the candidates for this election. Just 76 women are among the 1,981 contestants, and most of the parties put only men on their tickets. While the caretaker government of Muhammad Yunus set up a Women's Affairs Reform Commission, his interim administration has also been criticized for sidelining the body and making decisions without consulting women officials. According to a new estimate by the Power and Participation Research Center, poverty in Bangladesh has increased sharply to 27.93%, up from 18.7% in 2022. Whereas Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics revealed that the annual inflation rate in Bangladesh rose to 8.29% in November 2025. For years, election manifestos in Bangladesh carried little weight, often forgotten once the votes were counted. But this time, the stakes are different. The parties are putting forward ambitious economic visions, and voters are paying attention. The BNP has promised to turn Bangladesh into a $1 trillion economy by 2034, while Jamaat is aiming even higher, targeting $2 trillion by 2040. Both stress jobs, industrial growth, youth empowerment and a business-friendly climate. But economists say the real question is not ambition, it is feasibility. Whereas the economy, institutions and public finances actually deliver on these promises remains to be seen. It will be interesting to see how the outcome of the election will impact India-Bangladesh relations and Dhaka's ties with Islamabad. While Bangladesh's relationship with India sharply deteriorated after the fall of Hasina, the period of diplomatic strain is expected to ease when the new government gets elected. Both the BNP and Jamaat have repeatedly said they wanted friendly and cooperative relations with India. On the other hand, Pakistan, with whom Bangladesh has recently increased exchanges, especially economic, and last month resumed direct flights after a 14-year gap, the ties are going to improve further. As Bangladesh heads into one of the most defining elections in its history, the choice before voters goes far beyond political rivalry. It is a decision about stability after turmoil, about the future of its democracy, and about whether economic promises can turn into real change for 170 million people.